Good evening, YouTube. My name is Harry Clark, and of course I am the Pandaman XA. So yeah, like yesterday I think we revealed new cards for the Infinity Chasers set, and basically all the Evil Eye most of, if not all the Evil Eye monsters, as well as like one or two Witchcraft and the Infinite Ignition series. But because the Evil Eyes have the most reveals, we get to see what they do. We'll be mostly talking about them. Starting with... Excuse me while I just sit up straight. Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye. Yeah. And her effect is, when she's normal summoned, you may target an Evil Eye card in your graveyard, except for Medusa, Watcher of Evil Eye, and if you do, add the targeted card to your hand. Yeah. Okay, just my eyes are constantly darting to the window next to it, so I'm just going to set up my iPad to watch it. Okay. And her second effect is, once turned during the eye player's turn, if she has the Cursed Eye of Selene attached, you may target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. And her final effect is, during your standby phase, after the turn you use her last effect, you can banish any card from your graveyard. So yeah, being able to curve from graveyard is nice. She's nowhere near as powerful as the one that searches from the deck and destroys those summon monsters. But she doesn't need to be, because you are bringing up back stuff from graveyard, which is still very useful. I can imagine her being used at 1 or 2, but this monster is actually quite nice. The next card I'm going to be talking about is Bagelus, Retainer of the Evil Eye. And he's a dark level 3 fiend with 400 attack and 2000 defense. And he's got 2 effects, both of which are locked hard on his turn. His first effect is inherit something that if you control an Evil Eye monster, you can special summon him from your hand, and once turned during your main phase, you can send an Evil Eye spell or trap card from your deck to the graveyard. So yeah, this definitely exists for the purpose of, basically remedying the normal summon dependence that pretty much every other card has shown so far, like Medusa and Cerzial require you to be normal summoned to get plussing off their effects. And this card can be basically used as a follow-up to and being able to send a spell trap card from your deck to graveyard allows you to basically set up to get the Cursed Eye of Selene. Which, yeah, this is probably the coolest card in terms of artwork. I can't show you it because, well, okay, I can, but yeah, I'm using my organisation as a source, and you can barely see it. And I'm split sec. Let's just pretend that didn't happen and talk about the first spell card. And we've got Pareidolia, Domain of the Evil Eye. It's a field spell. And the effect is that you can only activate 1 turn, and when activated, you can add an Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand, like a lot of other field spells. You can search for this card with the monster that ran normal summoned, which is nice. Its second effect is only applied while you control the Evil Eye of Selene in the spell trap zone, and a Evil Eye monster you control gets attacked, you can activate the effect, and your opponent also takes just as much damage as you did from that battle. It's just there. And if in the field spell and then destroyed by a card effect, you may target an Evil Eye monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. The fact that the Evil Eyes, with the exception of the 3 special summon, are very normal summon dependent, so putting one in your graveyard back to your hand might not always be optimal, but it's quite a nice effect to have, actually. Especially if you self-blow it up via the effect of the Searcher, during your standby phase after the effect is activated, you can destroy a card you control, which is definitely how I think Konami would want you to use this. So yeah, So yeah, a majority of the Evil Eye stuff we're seeing in this review is spell and trap support. Just those two monsters. Those two monsters are pretty much it for their monsters. So yeah, we've got Curse of the Evil Eye, which is a quick play spell. No, wait, I'm skipping one. Actually, we'll talk about Curse of the Evil Eye next. First up is Forbidden Awakening of the Evil Eye, which is a normal spell, and its effect special. You can only activate one a turn, and its effect is special summon one from your Evil Eye from your hand or graveyard. Again, helping alleviate this normal summon reliance of these cards. And its secondary effect is if you have Evil Eye Selene spell trap card zone, you can special summon from the deck instead, which is really good, actually. So yeah, definitely a solid 3 of, I'd say. So yeah. Oh yeah, now we're getting back to where we are. Curse of the Evil Eye. Quick play spell. If you control an Evil Eye monster, target spell trap card you controls and destroy it. If you control Evil Eye of Selene in your spell trap zone, the card destroyed by this effect is banished instead of being sent to the graveyard. So yeah, this card is very easy to compare to cards like, what are they called again? MST, Cosmic Cyclone, and this card does have something going for it. Mostly its searchability, so you may want to want a copy, or just for that utility, because two methods and battery decks, who knows? You may even want to slide in more. Oh yeah, searchable MST, what's not to love? Oh yeah. Our next spell is a continuous spell, Watchful Rule of the Evil Eye, and its first effect is pretty unique in this entire game. You can also banish a Evil Eye card from your graveyard to activate this card. If you do so, draw a card. So you have the opportunity to not banish it from your graveyard as cost, but if you don't, you won't get to draw a card, so you'll almost always be wanting to do that. Especially since you can banish any Evil Eye card, which is just lovely. I like seeing first of its kind cards in this game. Once a turn, if an Evil Eye monster equipped with the Evil Eye of Selene attacks and during damage calculation, you can activate this effect and banish the opposing monster. So basically, not only is your monster invincible to battle card effects being targeted, you can basically banishes any opposing monster not targeting, which basically means you won't have to worry about, for example, opposing monsters equipped with the Cursed Eye of Selene. And its last effect is, if in the spell trap zone destroyed by a card effect, you may target up to 3 of your banished Evil Eye cards and return them to the graveyard. So yeah, you can banish it. The card banished with its first effect will get returned to the graveyard, and you've also got the effects of cards like the Cursed Eye of Selene that can banish stuff to reset it, and even the monster I talked about earlier who banishes from your graveyard. You can just return them all back. So yeah, but it's not that powerful, honestly. So yeah, the first of our trap cards is Jealous Disruption of the Evil Eye. So yeah, I can't show you this artwork, it's really cool. I particularly like the snake one. So yeah, it's a normal trap card, and its effect is if you control an Evil Eye monster, you may target once on the field and return it to the hand. If Evil Eye Selene's in your spell trap zone, you may target up to 2 monsters with this effect. Which is really nice, actually, and like, it's very much like the spell trap removal card, where it has a struggle of not really doing that much to make it different from cards like MST and Cosmic Cyclone, but this card being able to target up to 2 monsters definitely makes that work. And given that this card deck seems to be a more slow-paced control deck, I think this card has terrific synergy with the general idea of strategy, and is definitely a 2 of at least. Maybe even 3 if we're really lucky. So yeah. We've got a continuous spell, Death Control of Evil Eye, Continuous Trap. You can only activate a card, activate it once a turn, once a turn. And if your opponent special summons a monster in attack mode, and you control an Evil Eye with higher attack than it, you may target the special summon monster and take control of it. And if you control this Evil Eye Celine monster in Spell Trap Zone, it is also treated as an Evil Eye monster. When that monster leaves field, destroy his card. This is very restricted since the special summoned monster has to be not only in attack mode, you also have to have an Evil Eye with more attack than it, given that they're not very strong. I mean, Cursed Eye Celine can make attack points go up quite high, but it can potentially mess up your opponent if they try to counter you, so it could be very devastating in some scenarios. But it seems very situational, honestly. And the last of the Evil Eye cards is a counter trap called Sentence of the Evil Eye. So yeah, it's a counter trap card. You can only hit for one of them per turn, and if a spell or trap card is activated while you control an Evil Eye monster, you get to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. And if you have the Cursed Eye Celine out, your opponent cannot activate its activation, and effect cannot be negated. The additional effect is not really that useful because it's a counter trap card, and there's very little counter traps really need to worry about in terms of getting their activation effects negated, since you can't chain things to them except for other counter traps, which is, I guess you got that going for it. Although it doesn't seem very powerful compared to what the Salamangreat and the Orcusts got for their counter trap. Or even the Magical Musketeers, which while that also only stops spells and traps in addition, as opposed to monster effects, it also is ridiculously flexible because you can play it from your hand, and it's not very powerful compared to those cards, so I can't imagine you wanting 3 copies of this. So yeah, it's pretty nice, especially since it's your main answer to cards like Cosmic Cyclone, Heavy Dust Storm, and that's clearly the scenario it's designed for. So yeah, we've got the first of our Infinite Ignition cards. So yeah, the third Infinite Ignition Riverstorm, a rank 5 Earth Xyz. He's generic, requiring only 2 level 5s, and his first effect is detach material from it and add either an Earth Machine from your deck to your hand, or send an Earth Machine from your deck to graveyard. So it's basically a rank 5 version of a card like Gear Gigant X, which is probably the decentest comparison, but it's on a rank 4, Gear Gigant X's effect is very powerful. On rank 5, it's a little underwhelming a little. But yeah, maybe, although I could imagine it being a lot less underwhelming if the other Infinite Ignition cards are good at following up on that. His second effect is, if he destroys a monster by battle, you can attach it to him as material. I don't think you'll ever find yourself running out of materials and needing to use his effect to get more, but I think it's pretty nifty that you can potentially get rid of a monster that needs to be in the graveyard. And if he's in the graveyard, you may tribute a Machine Link to special summon in defense mode. This combos with the other Link monster, the Infinite Ignition monster that also got revealed, and I can't quite remember what it was called, so I'm going to have to change to the page, and it's called the Infinite Ignition Goliath. Didn't they just introduce a Thunder Dragon called that? Oh yeah, their names change, don't they? So yeah, he's a Link 1 Earth Machine Link with 1,000 attack. His Link monster is bottom right. I think I'm pointing to the bottom right. I can't tell whether or not if the YouTube thingy reverses this, I'll definitely know when I watch it back later. But yeah, his first effect is locked hard on his turn. That effect being that if you send from a field to graveyard, you may target any Xyz monster you control and attach him to it as material. And his second effect is, if he's attached as material to an Xyz monster whose original type is machine, he gains the following effect. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So yeah, you can potentially use him in another machine. The fact that he needs an Infinite Ignition monster means you can't use him in like any deck. He's not very advantage heavy, like cards like Magical Musketeer Max, but again, like, I could imagine the rest of the archetype being able to follow him up quite consistently. And there's the last card, the Witchcraft reveal. Woo! So yeah, let's get down to, what was it, Witchcraft Schmitter. As you can, she's cute. I'm not going to show you though. And she's a level 4 fire spellcaster monster, effect monster with 1800 attack and 600 defense. And her first effect is during either main phase, by attributing her, then discarding a spell from your hand, you may special summon a Witchcraft monster from your deck, except for the next copy of Witchcraft Smitter. And her second effect activates by banishing her from your graveyard. Send a Witchcraft card from your deck to graveyard, except another Witchcraft Schmitter. Both effects are locked to hard once per turn. So yeah, pretty interesting since, again, the fact that tributing and discarding a spell from your hand as part of cost is actually really heavily costed compared to cards like Geargy Arsenal or Medolce Angeli, since if you get hit by something like Called by the Grave or Ash Blossom, you're in huge trouble. Although in the case of Ash Blossom, you can still follow up with her second effect, banishing her to send a Witchcraft from your deck to graveyard. And I could imagine her being quite powerful because if that, depending on what the Witchcraft stuff do, that could be just very, very powerful. And it's frustrating, like, when you're talking about cards, archetype cards, before the rest of the sort is revealed, like, you don't really know the context for how powerful this card actually is, because this card has tons going for it, but also tons going against it, and it could be the most important card in the deck, or one of, depending on how the rest of the support takes advantage of it. But I will say, this Witchcraft monster definitely has potential. So yeah, those are pretty much all the reviews today, or at least all of them that I'm interested in talking about, because they're connected to Infinity Chasers. There are a bunch of other cards, particularly related to the movie, but I think you're pretty much tired of me for today, so if you've been affected by any future video, please let us know in the comments down below, and as always, my name is James Clark, the Panama and I shall see you in the next video. Peace out.